Jesus is my virtue, and Judas is the demon I cling to. What's up, Victoria? It's moi, Victoria, and today we're continuing my little series where I'm just playing with some eyeshadow palettes and I'm just doing whole looks. Sometimes I'll be featuring new makeup, sometimes I won't be. This series has come out of the fact that brands are behaving badly, the world is behaving badly, and I'm just kind of like, I would like to do my makeup. So that's what I'm gonna do, baby. Anyway, if you are new to my channel, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button. I also would like for you to check out my pinned comment. There are some sources there to donate directly to people in Gaza. So if you have additional funds at this time, I would appreciate you supporting them. I actually have a lot of new stuff that I can put on my face today. But the eyeshadow palette I'm choosing to use today is this. This is from bellabeautébar. This was received in PR. This is their unoriginal nudes palette. And here's what it looks like on the inside. Gorgeous, stunning, amazing. Can't wait to put that on my eyes again. I've used it a couple of times. There's something else I was gonna say. Oh, I was talking a lot about this palette. I forgot immediately after I filmed the video where I did the Urban Decay palette. I forgot that I said that during that, and then I filmed a couple more of these before editing that, and then I edited that, and I said in that video that I would use this one next, but I didn't. We'll talk about that in a moment because I want to show you what else I have. I did pull out another shade of the TRIXIE blush, but I also placed not one final, but like I placed a PHYTOSURGENCE order before they closed because I needed something for an event I'm going to as gifting. And anyway, hopefully if you are going to the Catskills, pretend you didn't hear that. But I bought 2 new blushes for myself. Well, actually this one I didn't buy, but I bought Sear, which came in the same collection as Scorch, and it's really pretty. It looks quite like honey. Maybe we'll do a little swatch movie. But if you follow PHYTOSURGENCE, they have been doing small batches of the shade called Plume, which I was like, Jason, I'm so sad I didn't get Plume. Thank you, Jason. What a privilege. I just wanted to like buy from PHYTOSURGENCE one last time until we can again. And you know what's so funny? I haven't used Verdant Force Field in a long time, and I used it today, and I'm like, why did I ever stop using Verdant Force Field? And I think the real reason is that there's a lot of product that gets stuck on the bottom, like that the pump can't get for some reason, and that's really annoying. And that's why I did have to scrape it out, but I ran out of my daytime moisturizer, and I had an unfinished bottle of that laying around, and I was like, oh my god. So that's what I used to moisturize before sitting down for this very video. But I do have one more final new thing, which is going to be the complexion product that we're using. I'll try to explain this more when we get to it, but I bought this from this brand, and you're probably like, okay, very interesting that you would so lacklusterly introduce it. Yeah, and I do feel like, okay, yeah, but we'll talk about this in a bit. We will be using this today. I have thoughts just from opening it. My fingers are not greasy. Why is this happening? This is matte. Why is my fingerprint? So this is the unoriginal nudes palette. I'm not sure this is my favorite eyeshadow palette that bellabeautébar has ever made, but it's definitely one of the most useful eyeshadow palettes for me and the way I like to do my makeup. This is a very invaluable palette. And the reason that this is a great palette for me specifically is I like a lot of like very brown looks, but I like a very impactful shimmer. And bellabeautébar has them both in here. And bellabeautébar released an eyeshadow palette. I think it had to have been last year, or maybe if I've been getting bellabeautébar PR for 2 years, I like actually don't know what's going on anymore. I don't know up from down. And that might be the case, but they released this like all matte like neutral palette that had some neons in it, and I didn't love that one. I'm not sure what was different about it. That one wasn't my favorite. So I'm really excited that they brought this one into the fold because I've used it enough times to know I'm very into this palette. We're gonna do something very Tom today. I'm not gonna try to dress it up, gussy it up too much. One, because I only got 4 hours of sleep last night, and that's my own fault. I just like didn't fall asleep. And it wasn't like because I wasn't trying. I went to my bed at 9:30, and like all of a sudden it was 11:30. I wasn't even scrolling on TikTok. I was just laying there with my eyes closed. I had a podcast playing, but that's like laissez-faire. Is that right? Is that the right? What is laissez-faire? Oh yeah, laissez-faire, a policy or attitude of letting things take their own course without interfering. That's what I'm doing with eyeshadow today. Very laissez-faire. Very laissez-faire. Oh, laissez-faire, my favorite drag performer. Oh my god, that's a great drag name. You can take it. You can take it. I'll give it to you. I'm gonna put you up a little bit. Although I'm sitting in my chair very weird because I'm queer. And that's what we do. We just sit in chairs weird. I should have bought. Now I feel bad I didn't buy more verdant force field. Whenever they figure it out, I'll get some verdant force field. So anyway, I didn't really sleep super well last night. Well, I slept okay once I fell asleep, but I only slept for a couple of hours because I wake up so early for work. So that's a bummer. It happens every now and then. It's like not a common occurrence for me to have issues sleeping. I'm excited to use this palette again because the beautiful thing about being a content creator that is lucky enough to receive PR, and it's always a privilege. I'm always thankful for it. I'm always grateful for it. And when you get to a point where like you're starting to get multiple eyeshadow palettes from multiple brands, and my time to dedicate to makeup isn't like limited just because of work and life. And I do wear makeup in my real life too. Obviously, that's like how I test it. For my work day, it's like I'm not really wearing makeup unless I'm like filming, putting on makeup afterward. Anyway, all that being said, it just kind of, it's like, you know, it's just one of those things that it's just like, I don't feel like I always get as into things as I would like. So I'm going to set my eyeshadow base with Unoriginal Nude 2. I saw someone say that they didn't really like the cover of this palette because it kind of looked like the burn book. And they said it's pretty unoriginal, that that's what they would do. And then I didn't reply to that comment, but if that person's watching, I'm like, what if that was the point? I don't know. The thing is, a lot of indie eyeshadow palettes, not all, but a lot of indie eyeshadow brands, the artwork on the outside of the palette is like not really that important to me. But I get that some people, that is a part of the purchasing experience for them. But when it comes to like an eyeshadow palette, especially from an indie brand, it's like not something I really concern myself with too much. Because the other thing is like my makeup, especially my eyeshadow palettes, usually stay in my room. And I think something that this palette will help me with is like whenever I know I want to use it, when I'm looking at my eyeshadow palette drawer, I'll be like, I'll just know which one it is because it's hot pink, even though I know what's inside is very neutral and brown. But there is, you know what I'm really appreciating these days? Maximalism. And I feel like the cover on this palette is quite maximalist. Look at that. Blurred, blended, gorgeous. Blurred, blended, gorgeous. Welcome to my channel. Bored, blended, bored. I'll tell you my game plan here, and so you will be witnessing this in the midst of whatever I have decided to do. So I'm going on a trip in a couple of weeks. Well, I leave next Friday as I film, but I have been pre-filming a bunch of stuff to go up, and I had to do so much this weekend. Like, I'm getting my hair trimmed. Don't worry, it's just up in a ponytail if you didn't catch that. I'm going to go into Unoriginal Nude 4, which is this one right here. I'm going to use that well, actually, I'm going to go into Unoriginal Nude 6. I'm going to use that as a transition. And so I'm getting my hair trimmed on this Saturday. And then here's the thing. I have a hairy back, and it's actually, I think I've talked about this on my channel. It's just like, it's really weird what some things to me feel like gender dysphoria, and my hairy back is one of them, but my facial hair is like not one of those things. I feel like I'm very in between about like what at least as far as my appearance goes. And I was trying to save money because I normally just like don't really shave my back all of that much unless I'm like wearing an outfit that I know that the back is like will be revealed, and then I like will take the time and care. I'm very lightly applying this. This shade would be darker if I was like kind of going in carelessly. But it is like the shade I want to use as my transition because it's just a little more rosy than some of the other lighter shades, and I'm just gonna slowly build here. First of all, I don't know if the person's going to be able to get me in, but there's this person that I saw recommended in the Pittsburgh subreddit who does waxing. And I've gotten my back waxed before, but this is like a male who does like male Brazilians. And I gotta say, I'm curious. So if I can get in and if I can get both things done, I'll report back on how I feel about it. Honestly, when it comes down to the down there, it's okay. We can talk about this. It's just more of like a style aesthetic thing, and I'm not going to show it to you. I'm like really indifferent to how it looks. Sometimes I like it shaved. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I like it just a little bit groomed. I've never tried a Brazilian, and I think I might just like it because then I truly don't have to worry about it for weeks at a time. So there's something. Also, I just might like the feeling. Not the feeling of being physically waxed, but the feeling afterward. Because like everything I've done has not been like a short, long-term situation down there. Anyway, we'll be happy to report back on how that goes. Maybe I will have another video before I even get back from my little trip to like not talk about it specifically, but you know, report back. And here's the thing. Some of you might just be like, why is Tom talking about this? But it's like, also just like, why not? We can have this kind of dialogue. I also, in case you don't know this about me, it's been a long time, I think, since I've mentioned it, but I actually used to work and manage a European wax center a long time ago. So I'm just like very familiar with the world of waxing. But at that time, which was years ago again, just keep that in mind, they did not offer male Brazilians. I don't think I would have gotten them done where I worked anyway. I don't know if I told this story because I probably was just kind of like, why would I tell that story? But whenever they started offering male Brazilians, or like, well, actually, here's what I will say. European Wax Center has done a really good job with their branding, because there's like penis Brazilian and vagina Brazilian. It's not really male, female. I commend them for that, because I guess, you know, I don't think that a lot of people would think that they would have to do that, but and label it as such, but I appreciate that they did. A manager of another center, not even the manager or like the franchisee that owned the franchise that I worked at, reached out to me and was like, would you like to be a model? And I was like, the last thing I would want to do is be a model for a bunch of people who I used to work with. Like, that just isn't it. Now, the girls there, they would wax each other all the time, and it felt very passive, but it does feel different, you know? Anyway, this person doesn't work for European Wax Center. He like does his own thing. So I'll report back, even if I can get in. I was just kind of like, I'm sorry, I'm so last minute. Like, I was like, if you have anything next week to do these 2 services, let me know. It will be a little bit of a trek for me to get to, but I think it'll be worth it. And also I can just kind of like make a moment of it. I did ask if he's working on Labor Day, because I'm off on Labor Day, so I could just go get it done real quick. You know, just be like, that's what I'm doing in the morning, is getting my pubic hair ripped out of me. Anyway, not sure you came here for that chatter, but I sure told ya. Also, while I was talking, I just kept putting eyeshadow on. The deepest brown I used was this one right here, which is the shade Unoriginal Nude 10. A lot of the shimmers in here really remind me of Skin of a Killer. And I think that the formulas were supposed to be like that. So that is really exciting. I am going to go, and I think I'm going to use the shade Replicate. I've definitely used Token Shimmer 1, Token Shimmer 2, but I don't think I've used the shade Replicate. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And considering RIP to my NYX glitter primer, she's no more, we're going to just use this. This is the Fear and Pixie Epoxy. We're just going to lay some of that down on both eyes. And bellabeautébar's shimmers are very impactful, and I'm not looking for a super thick layer of shimmer, so I'm going to try to delicately tap it on with a brush and see where that takes us, if that gives me my desired effect, which I'm fairly certain it's going to, but let's find out together. So going into Delicate, ooh, honey child. What are you guys listening to right now? I feel like with music, I like don't know what to listen to. Every time I go to listen to music, I'm like, ugh, what are the choices? And yeah, oh my God, I love this eyeshadow. I love this eyeshadow. Oh, it's so me. You know what's so impressive is I'm getting some fallout, but like minimal. And we're not even doing Sparkle Cam, babe. That's just what it's looking like with literally every single light in my room on, shining on me. Like, are you kidding? But Bellabeautébar, I fear and celebrate that this is one of my favorite palettes you've ever released. I still love Poison Garden more because that one challenges me a little bit. But this, honey sweetie child, honey sweetie baby, she's the moment. Oh, swing. I was sitting on my ankle, and then I stopped sitting on my ankle. And you know that moment whenever you've been like putting pressure on something and you haven't noticed any kind of dull pain, but then the second you release, the pain hits. Let the rain fall. That's what just happened to me. Not me singing Hilary Duff on my Chanel. Not me singing Hilary Duff. The trauma. My ex loved Hilary Duff, which is crazy. Like, I don't dislike Hilary Duff. Don't get it twisted. I actually am kind of very indifferent to the idea of just like Hilary Duff existing as a person. Happy she's here, but I truly feel neither here nor there about one Hilary Duff. But my ex really liked her music, which seems like such a strange choice. I'm gonna use the Levitation lash. I have a Coco on. Actually, no, I might not be able to because I think I lost Coco and I don't know where she went. I actually just simply, you know what? If I had to guess, if I had to put money, I bet it's in my lip liner drawer. An eyeliner in my brush cup. Come on, fill your cup up, looking for some good luck. I'm gonna line my eyes with Coco. Anyway, back to me, Coco. She in love with the Coco. There have been, and I'm not like just saying this, there have been a number of times where the sentiment of people have been like, I would like for you to do a video where you sing the whole time. Babes, I hope you know I annoy myself when I sing all the time. I just do it. When I went on my trip with Cam earlier in the year, and I just like would look at her and start singing, and she wouldn't join in. She would just look at me like I was crazy. And I realized that not every family is like me and Tiff, where we are just singing and then the other person enables it. That's just very rare. I'm gonna use this again to see if it turns out as well as it did the other day. And it is. Okay. So the key to this mascara, although this mascara runs, honey, she runs. I was laughing so hard. I was crying at a TikTok in my bed just 2 days ago, and wouldn't you know it, like my eyeshadow balded, the mascara was running down my face. Why these bitches don't ever be learning? You bitches will never get what I be earning. I'm not a Barb. I used to know some of the lines. Nicki Minaj is some people's problematic fave, and I don't love that, but I get it. Sort of. I mean, she wasn't always so strange. I mean, she's always been strange, which is what I think a lot of people liked about her. But also in a very real way, it's like, maybe we don't say so many words. But her getting involved, sorry, pop culture moment. Her getting involved in the middle of the indie girl battle between Ethel and Lana is so funny. And just like her singing the Lana song takes me out, babe. Takes me out. I don't even really care about Ethel nor Lana. Also, the other day me and Cam were FaceTiming. Basically, if I'm not hanging out with Tiff, I'm FaceTiming with Cam. Those are my two people. Or I'm falafel friesing with my friend Etta. And I did say falafel fries. The girls who were there will remember it, but we haven't, we talk today. We fixed the United States educational system yet again. We were talking about languages because she's learning Spanish on Duolingo, and she's so excited. Like, she's actually doing really well. Like, she's gone on a couple trips where the places where she's gone speak Spanish mostly, and she's gotten by, just using her Spanish. I'm adding a little more lip balm. And she was talking to me the other day about using different tenses, like past and present tense. Out of the 5 years I took of French, I think on my last year, which was in college, was the first time we started talking about present and past tense. Everything else had been je m'appelle Thomas, like that kind of vibe. Kids are taught a language the whole time. Get it in their little mushy brains while their brains can handle it. Get it in there. My brain is not so mushy anymore. Unfortunately, it's, I describe it as mushy, but it's not as malleable as it once was. Those little kid brains, though, very malleable. I probably don't need primer because I have Verdant Force. I just put Verdant Force Field on. Everything I have right now has a little bit of a glow to it, whether it's blue or golden. So I am going to use the Victoria Beckham just to start playing with this palette, which we're going to talk about in a second. I love this primer. Also, my skin is so good right now, which thank God. I was like really concerned earlier this year that my skin had it was just different now. It seems to be getting back to somewhat of normal, but like, ooh, skin looks great, babe. This palette is from this brand, which is by a makeup artist. No shade to Miss Mary. I think her name's Mary. But I saw that this was coming out, that the brand was launching, and I was like, so confused by this. so confused by this being a complexion offering. So this is, I think Mary Phillips is the name of the makeup artist. By the time you see this video, I'm sure that Kelly's video has already come out, but Kelly and I were talking about this brand a little bit earlier, Kelly Gooch, and we were talking about like the makeup brands that are coming out, that are launching, or that have recently launched or about to launch. There's a bunch of brands that are like kind of coming up right now. So this launched with 3 versions of this. I have the light version. There's a light, a medium, and a deep. And I guess this person's whole thing is that she underpaints. And I guess my problem, I do have like a problem with this for some reason, because whenever I think of like underpainting, I think of like stage and drag. I mostly think about drag performers. Like there's like very rare scenarios where I think a normal person, like a person like you, a person like me, would ever want to underpaint and put as much complexion product as this kind of technique requires of you. Right? So I just think, and also it's like not a technique that people don't know about. And I also don't think, even if you try to make it as convenient as possible as it appears, the brand is being carried at Sephora. And Also, you can buy directly from their website. The brand is kind of like selling this just like weird fantasy that I just like am not believing, right? Like I just don't believe it. However, I have to say that I was like really compelled by it only because I was just like, but why? And I was like, well, what if it is good? The other thing is, this is like very much giving pro makeup artists, not consumers. If you're selling to a makeup artist, I don't know if these are magnetic. And I don't know if you could buy refills or if there's intentions for that to happen. But I think that should be what the case is. In her head, she was like, I want makeup artists to buy this. Well, then you're going to have to make it so that it's refillable, right? Because just like me as a normal person, no makeup artist is going to run through any one shade consistently with the others, right? So we have like contour bronzer shades here, and we have some color correcting and face shades over here. I'm going to run through some of these shades faster than others, which is like fine. That makes sense. It's going to happen. But like, I don't want to have to buy a whole other palette. This is with $65. There are professional makeup brands that sell stuff that is like this, right? Like if this is compelling to you, there is definitely a way to do this cheaper and even more customized, I feel. If you have cream foundations and cream contours that you already like, you can depot them into pans and then put them in whatever palette you want, and then you have the same thing. So you definitely don't have to do it this way. You don't even have to buy stuff to do it this way because you probably already have cream products that you could do this with if you are a fan of cream products. It's just really impractical. Like, I don't know, it just like doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Anyway, you might be like, Tom, this is a lot of reasons for you to have not to bought it. And I agree with you, but I haven't been interested in much makeup, really, I would say recently, like that's like new and fresh or whatever. So I was like, well, this is something new, and I guess maybe people might be compelled. I also, how do you say the brand name? And I'm sure she has a video. She's like, hi, I'm Mary Phillips, creator of this. But I have, up until today, when Kelly was like, why are you calling it MURPH? I was like, I don't know. It looks like MURPH. There's no R, but like, I'm not going to call it MURPH. It's MURPH. We're calling it MURPH, okay? I don't care what Mary wanted to call it. You and I, we're calling it MURPH. Just like Diva Rune. I'm going to actually take a quick beat and watch a video of her doing it because I'm going to try to do it her way. I have an idea. I understand the concept. Hi, Mary, if you're watching this video, you need your own YouTube channel where you're demoing your product. Because as I searched on YouTube, didn't see it. And you might have like a TikTok and but like, I think for me and doing like makeup tutorials, I would rather watch it on YouTube. Suggestion, MURPH, if you're listening. But also while I was scrolling to find a demo, a person posted a video and they were comparing it to Saint Beauty, but isn't Saint is and or was an MLM. God, I hope this is better quality than Saint makeup. Sorry to any of the Saint girlies in the chat, but if, in case it's not clear, I'm very anti-MLM, which hasn't come up in a really long time and I mostly avoid the topic, but girl, it ain't me. I'm not gonna put this on. I feel like that person was trying to claim that Saint created underpainting. Okay, so I'm just gonna go with my best guess. So we have, according to the back here, contour 2, contour 1, highlight 2, highlight 1, color corrector. I think the brand also has lip liners and like lipsticks that are coming out if they're not already out. Oh, that hair in it's mine. Don't worry about it. I guess my first thought is like, this is kind of like a potentially interesting way to skirt having to do a very detailed shade range because like some people can like, you know, you can kind of flex, right? So like if this ends up being mostly my foundation color, then it's like, oh, I use that kind of. So anyway, we're just gonna get into it. Do we start with contour? I guess you could finger paint too, but basically we're gonna essentially draw the contours of our face before we blend them is kind of like what I'm thinking. So I'm gonna put that where I usually put contour. So we're going into this shade right here. And I'm going to put that where I usually put contour. I'm now concerned. I'm going to do it the way I'm going to do it. Because I feel like I should put like a very thick thing and then blend it all up at once. Is what I'm like thinking. So we'll contour there. Contour there. I guess this also is kind of like in the spirit of the way I've been doing my complexion like more recently. That's a very interesting color for contour. It looks cool toned in the pan, but as I'm putting it on my face, it is turning both orange and green. We're seeing a lot of orange and green coming out, which is very common for me. But I have a feeling we're going to end up with something a little more, I guess, bronze. Like, I'm guessing we're getting like something a little more bronze toward. Also, if you recall, there is that video of that person that's shapeshift for the men. I forget what the whole audio is. But I feel like in that video, she's underpainting pictures of Kim Kardashian whenever Makeup by Mario does her makeup and does her contour and she released the contour stick, they showed basically her getting underpainted on by Mario. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. It's just such a weird thing to try to like sell to the mass market. I don't know. What do you think? I am curious. Sorry, there's a bronzer shade next to it, and I just don't know that the bronzer shade's gonna be like much different. These formulas are like really like kind of, I would describe them as like balms. Look how orange it is. Girl, look how orange you look. So there's like the contour too. First of all, neither one of these really look like contours to me, but that's okay. This shade does look cool toned, but that is the shade that I have on my face. And it's not registering as like as cool as I would guess want it to be. I'm gonna like build up the contour on my nose, I guess, a little bit. And then I'm gonna take like the color corrector. I'm gonna put that under my eyes. That's what I'm supposed to do. These are like really balmy formulas. So I'm like curious like how much coverage I'm about to get. And then I'm gonna put highlight 2 like on the high points of my face. Yeah, I'm just like curious about coverage now. Also do it down the center of my nose. Like, okay, let's just talk about this. So in theory, right, like we're cutting out some middleman, right? Like if you contour and bronze and highlight, like this covers all of those things and this potentially offers it up in a travel-ish friendly kind of way. Now I'm sitting here doing my makeup and this just feels really fussy to me. As someone who does enjoy like fussing with my complexion, it just feels so fussy. Also, this color corrector is kind of like peachy, and so not everyone is going to want to use peachy color corrector under their eyes. I don't really have like a lot of, I'm going into highlight 2 and putting that like in the middle here, kind of. I promise if you're watching this and you're like cringing, you're like, that's not what Mary would do at all. Mary, if you're watching and you're like, that's not really how I would do that at all, that's fine. I'll come back more educated at a different time. But I'm just also, in a very real way, trying to figure out, I'm taking contour 2, the darker of the 2 contours, and I'm just going to put it like right at the temple and maybe a little on my jawline. I'm bringing my contour down a little bit more. Okay, I'm not going to lie, I am having like a little bit of fun doing this, but again, if you have cream complexion products, you can already do this. I'm going to use my concealer brush to blend this out, and we'll just see where we're going. So this is kind of like what we're working with. I just feel like I don't have as much contour over here. How much coverage, if you haven't seen anyone use this already, how much coverage are people getting out of this? It just feels like I'm like both using a ton and so little product. It's so strange. Like it's also strange. Okay, I'm going to start by blending out like from the highlights and then I'll work on the contours after. Okay, so I've basically just blended out the highlight portions. I'm going to put them through my beard area too, but I'll do that in a second. I will say this. It actually kind of looks really great. It looks really lovely. I don't have a lot of texture going on my skin right now, so I'm not sure how it would look if I had like dry patches or anything, but like in my normal dry patch areas, it's still looking quite good. This is looking much dewier than my other cream complexion products do. It's looking kind of like the Merit stick looks on me when I use the Merit Great Skin, which is a compliment to this, by the way. Like I like that look. It's looking very glowy. The Victoria Beckham primer adds like a little bit of glow, but not normally like this glowy. So that's kind of impressive. That's like not what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be maybe a little less easy to blend out, but I guess I shouldn't have been surprised with that because it is quite balmy. I kind of like this coverage. It is giving, I feel like, a little more coverage than I typically have going on my face. And then I'm going to blend out the contour on my nose. So here's the thing. This product is definitely for people who are very into a specific kind of look if they aren't a professional makeup artist. Like, I just can't see most regular people getting into the idea of this. And then I'm going to run just a little more of the highlight down the center of my nose because sometimes it gets a little bit muddy. I'm also going to add a little bit of that on this part of my face too, because the contour just looks like it's like Just maybe going a little bit askew. I'm gonna add a little bit more of the peachy under my eye. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of the highlight too and pull it through my beard area. I'm not gonna like lie to your face. I think it looks really good. I think it looks really good. I think it looks really good. So I'm not going to sit here, like, I think it looks good on my skin. I think it's laying well. I blended really quite easily. Everything did what it was supposed to do. So I can't complain about that. But I think if you are like just regular person staying at home, this is just so fussy. The formula of the creams are very good. And if you wanted to release singular compact cream products, I think that wouldn't be a bad idea. And I think that would be a lot easier for someone like me or you to digest and be like, okay, that's my cream contour. Like you would like understand that, you would like know what you were going to do with that. In my opinion, if you're into this sort of thing, like if you really want to make your makeup fussier, it just felt like it took a really long time to do my foundation. And that is because I was kind of doing 3 different steps in one, or 4 different steps, because it was like I'm concealing, foundationing, you know, doing all of those things all at once and then blending them out. But I can't deny it. Like, it does look pretty. Like, I think it does. Like, my skin looks really good. Again, I just want to reemphasize that my skin is in a very good place right now. It's like, didn't work magic, but I think it has really nice coverage with the amount that I applied. Also, I do want to talk about the packaging really quick. I would like this packaging, but I feel like my fingerprints are getting on it just as much as something that's really shiny, and it has like this matte finish. It is heavy in my hands, and I did misspeak in a video previously. I thought something wasn't removable pans. It was the Ellis Atlantis collection. So let me see if maybe these are removable, but they look glued in. The only reason I say that is because my magnet doesn't seem to want to grip onto those pans. I don't think it's like super luxurious like looking, but it does feel nice in the hands. It's like nice and weighty, not as heavy as like Olivia Palermo or Victoria Beckham, but definitely like heavier than like something like an Hourglass palette. Like it's like dense, you can feel it. I don't know that this color is really appealing to me. It's giving very 70s, but I think because it's just this dark brown color and there's like no contrast, at least yet in the brand, everything seems to be this like dark brown color. I guess I don't understand the aesthetic, because it's like, this might as well be like that clinical white that everything else is. It's like the same idea, but it's just brown. My first impressions of this are quite good, other than the fact that I think it's ridiculous that this is something that someone is trying to bring to like the mass market, I guess. And if the brand is trying to say anything other than they are bringing this to the mass market, like if they're trying to say it's like, oh no, we really releasing it for makeup artists, but we just thought we would put it in Sephora so the makeup artists would have an easier time getting it, they're lying. They want you to come across it in a Sephora and be like, I've never done that before. I don't know what makeup is. I've never, you know, like maybe I do need to be underpainting. No one needs to be underpainting. Find makeup that works for you. This might be makeup that works for you. Like someone who I'm thinking of is like, I feel like Ananda, my friend Ananda, who's medium olive, would really like this, but I don't know that the medium complexion stuff would work for her. It's like, they're both like, it feels like these are both like very limiting and also very freeing in like how many people could get use out of the shades. But like, it works for me. I think it's like a pretty good match. Like I feel like the highlight in the center like brings it all together. I don't feel like the contour and bronzer shade are too deep. I would just say, if you're interested in it, try to find someone with your skin tone and undertones. For those of you who might be new to me, who might have clicked on this just to see what my thoughts on MURPH are, I have fair, neutral skin with slightly cool leaving undertones. So that's what we're working with here. My skin's oily, but I just did my skincare and I'm going to work out after doing this makeup. And I'm not expecting this to last through the workout, but that's just how my day worked out. That's what I'm doing next on my list of things to do. I don't know how long it will like last on my skin, but I do think my skin looks really great. And that's all I can say on that. And it's maybe creasing a little bit under my eyes. I did go back and add a little bit more. And I probably shouldn't have, because the more I add always seems to get me in trouble under my eyes. I'm going to really quickly, because I'm just taking it forever in this video, going to set just... As always, actually, I'm just taking a really long time. I'm going to set my under eye just a little bit. Because I'm going to use some cream cheek products. Well, at least one cream cheek product. I don't think I'm going to use the shade Sear from PHYTOSURGENCE. I think it would work, but I think I want to save that for a different look. Plume might be the right answer. That's Plume. I feel like it's like the eyeshadow shimmer is so silver this might work better, but I also really want to wear the shade from TRIXIE, the shade Honey, which I think would work. There is some warmth in the eyeshadows that I have on my eyes. Like, it's not exclusively cool toned. So I think this would work, but I just applied a TRIXIE one yesterday. Not that I can't apply a TRIXIE blush. This is one of the new, well, Plume's a new shade. Let's wear Plume. Let's wear Plume. Let's see what it looks like. I will also swatch it next to Condensate, just for anyone who might be curious. The brand has done it. It looks kind of like Condensate in the pan, but whenever I saw the brand swatch it, it looked a little more beige. And if you're new here, I love beige blush. I love like the lowest common denominator blush. Like, it's just like, I love the easy blush. If Plume is successful though, I hope they release like versions of it in different depths. Right. Wow. I'm very thankful that they did send this to me. After I was like, I really wish I could have bought it. That's very nice of them. And, that looks so good. I'll put a little bit more on because it is kind of, it's definitely like a lighter blush color. Like, meaning like it's just like, it's not a very intense blush color. And I will try to make it show up on camera on my cheeks for you. I think you can see it though. It's very up my alley. Very my speed. And they said they would basically keep restocking Plume until people lose interest in it. I have a feeling that that's not going to happen because that's gorge. I think I'm going to powder my face before I highlight. I'm just going to use the About Face powder all over my face. I'm going to powder my face and then I'll show you it compared to Condensate on my hand. The foundation still looks really good after powdering, by the way. Okay, let's go back to Plume. Let me get Condensate. Here's Plume and here's Condensate. Condensate looks a little bit darker and maybe just like a little bit more red. So here's Condensate, which I feel like does have a little more red in it. And there's Plume, which is like a little more purpley. Okay, I think I like Plume. I mean, I love Condensate. Don't get me wrong. I've been using Condensate for a while now. Love Condensate. No hate to Condensate. Plume, I think for my skin tone, is just like maybe a little more natural. I like it. I like it. I love Condensate too. Oh, goodness gracious. I'll be in the gray Cadillac in the bed like ooh. I'm gonna put Liluna on from HINDASH. Old fave. Old Faithful. I'm going to use Liberica from ISAMAYA. Kind of like growing thoughts on this. I really like this color. It just has like a hint of purple to it. Yeah, I really like the formula of the ISAMAYA lip liners. I do. I do. I'm not going to probably buy any other color. I just think this color is really nice for me and what I like. But definitely something to look for if you are in the market for a high-end lip liner. I think that they're good. And I begrudgingly say that because, you know, the praises of one ISAMAYA do not come easy to me, babe. Should we do another ISAMAYA product? I feel like the eyes really speak to it. This is the ISAMAYA Liplacq in the shade Metal. Shit Talks ISAMAYA. Me pulls out another ISAMAYA product to use on camera. We'll start in this little roundup with the blushes. I'll swatch Sear for you. I just realized I didn't swatch it for you. That's Sear. The thing with the PHYTOSURGENCE blushes is I feel like you see them, you see one by itself and you're like, why does that look like 7 other PHYTOSURGENCE blushes? And then you get them next to each other, you're like, okay, they're like not really as close as they look. That's the beautiful thing about PHYTOSURGENCE blushes. Anyway, very excited to have these. As always, it's my favorite blush formula. I quite like it. I didn't need more shades. Here's the thing. It was like either buy another blush or pay for shipping, which I'm more than happy to pay for shipping. But it's also like, it was kind of like where I was at price wise. It was just like, it could be one or the other. And I was going to make the purchase anyway. I also don't know when I'll be able to like make a purchase from them again. So I was like, Because it was like, this was really close to the price of shipping, whereas like buying Verdant Force Field or another one of my recovery serums would have been more expensive. Anyway, that's the why that I made that choice. Anyway, excited to continue to play with those as always. I don't feel like I'm shouting today, and I think that's simply because the fan is on a lower speed today because it's getting colder. It's getting colder. It's like not when I'm in New York City, because I am going to be in New York City as well as the Catskills when I go on that trip. It's not going to be like stinky, smelly New York City, which I'm looking forward to. It'll be a little bit cooler. Not like fall, but a little bit cooler. Okay, I don't even know which one I want to end on because they're both something. Let's talk about the Unoriginal Nudes palette. Of course I love this palette. I love this. I love it. I mean, why wouldn't I love this palette? Tell me why I wouldn't love this palette. Oh, I think I found the one. My baby boy, you can give me a son. I found a man that could. Oh. Love bellabeautébar's formulas. Their mattes are excellent. Their shimmers are excellent. I'm very into everything that they're doing. You know, I think, okay, this year at the end of the year, I'm not going to do like a big declutter. I'm going to do a makeup collection tour. And the goal will just be to go through all of my makeup and show it to you. And like declutters will happen. My heart is saying, keep this. Get rid of my Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. This is more diverse than that. And I like bellabeautébar shimmers better than Natasha Denona's. Natasha Denona shimmers are good. But I don't know. I guess I just don't want that palette floating around in my collection anymore. Even though I really like it. I just don't really use it that much because I guess I don't really use it that much. I don't really use many of my eyeshadow palettes a ton. So I guess it's not saying anything, but that's what my heart's saying right now. I would like to have this more than I would like to have the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude. That's not something I committed to doing in this video, so I'm not going to force myself to. I think the more controversial thing that I tried today is this, the MURPH palette. My skin looks great. like I think my skin looks so good. Let me get you in. I think the only thing that's maybe a little strange is like I powdered maybe a little bit too much on my forehead. I just do not see a world in which this is something that anyone wants or needs. And so here's what I'm going to say to you. If you like the way my complexion looks, I'm sure that you have products in your collection that can do this where you do not need to own this. But to be fair also to the product, I do think it's a good product so far. I do think it's making my skin, it's doing everything I could have asked it to do, and it's doing it well. The only thing I don't know the answer to in this moment at this juncture today right now is if the would hold up well on my face, but I will answer that in due time. I really like the way my skin looks. This was mostly kind of bought out of curiosity for the channel. I don't think if I didn't have a makeup channel, I wouldn't have bought this, but I was just kind of like, what's the deal and why are we doing that? And I think I do want to do a little bit of a history deep dive onto like underpainting and where it began, because I certainly know that Miss MURPH, she wasn't the first one to do it. I also wanted to compare it a little bit to this. This is from Decorte. This is one of their concealer palettes. This is just a little bit more desaturated. And this one has like a little more saturation. And it has a highlighter in it. Like an actual like slightly shimmery highlighter. Honestly, I'm excited to use this again because that was crazy. That's crazy. But I did feel like it took a long time to do. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to do a timing half of my face, just like doing half my face with this, doing half my face the normal way. I feel like that's something I could do. And then as far as accessibility, which I realized I forgot to mention when I talked about the packaging before, it is very smooth. There's like not really a lot to grip on. There is a little bit of that like mattifying to it, but it doesn't feel like a NARS blush. Like it's not that kind of matte. And I think that is why it is feeling very prone to my fingerprints. And there isn't really a ton of ledge to get your grip on. Can I do it without using my nails? Yes. Yes, and that is more than I can say for the Western Atelier one. So the magnet is strong feeling, but not so strong it feels impossible to get open without putting my nail in and breaking the seal of the magnet. Accessibility tests are actually much better for me to do when I have like long fingernails because it definitely changes how much I can grip. I think if you have dexterity issues, this will still be pretty difficult for you to open. That's my guess based on just like how it feels, how it looks. But I feel like if they're in a Sephora, this is something that you could go like touch. But if this is something you're compelled to do, this to me is essentially someone who formulated something and basically did what you could do with your makeup already. Meaning like if you use a lot of creams, you could just depot them and make your own version of this. And then it's way more custom than this because MURPH put together the shades that MURPH wanted to put together. And I know that it's not MURPH, but we're calling it MURPH. You have to go with it. That is the rules. Anyway, I think that's it. A lot of complex feelings about MURPH. Less complex feelings about this. This is good. This is beautiful. I loved playing with it today. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? We're saying goodbye to Natasha Denona. I need a nude. I don't use it on camera. I very rarely use it in my personal life. I would so much rather play with these. Ah, look at that. Pretty. Okay. We're going to put that in the perm drawer. Anyway, if you are new to my channel and you enjoyed today's video, the chill vibes of this, well, this is one version of me. I have other versions, but this is what I'll be doing for the next couple of videos. I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes to just play with, and I think I'm going to actually extend the series. I'm going to break it up with some other content. I'm going to do my permanent eyeshadow drawer as well with those palettes, just so we can get through all my palettes. Because I think this is a good experiment, and it's kind of like the using everything before the end of the year or whatever. Well, whatever I did when I did Messmas, whenever I did that project, it's like very similar feeling to that, except I'm doing it much slower because I'm older and I don't have as much time. I don't even know how I did a video every day, and those videos were long when I did Messmas. That was really, anyway. I don't know why I'm holding this up. Make sure you check out the pinned comment. Please support people in Gaza if you have the funds to. I'm on Patreon and I have channel memberships. You can find those linked in the description box. I do an additional video over there every single month, so I would love to see you there. But if not, I'm just so happy that you were here watching, liking, and commenting on my videos. Were you interested in MURPH? Let me know. And I think that's it. Remember to follow your haute and you'll find me, and I'll see you in a video very soon. Go forth. Tits out.